Hey guys, this is Zach with 8020 Media, here today with a video on the 5 best 3.5 EcoBoost F-150 Catback exhaust upgrades. So jumping right into this video, we're just going to go through the 5 best exhaust upgrades for the 3.5 EcoBoost and play a couple quick sound clips, and then we'll circle back to some benefits and other discussions around 3.5 EcoBoost Catback exhaust systems. Our top 3.5 EcoBoost Catback recommendation, we have Livernois MotorSports, and their Catback exhausts run anywhere from $800 up to about $1,050 for the F-150. Depending on the year and model and which specific exhaust you opt for. All of their exhaust systems are made 100% in the United States with T304 stainless steel. They feature mandrel bends, and they have their own patented sound cancellation technology to help reduce drone and also get rid of a little bit of that raspy sound that's pretty typical with exhaust upgrades on a V6 and especially turbocharged V6 engines. So their exhaust systems feature either a single or dual 4-inch polished exhaust tips. Got a quick little clip of the Livernois Motorsport exhaust system here. Next on the list, number 2 for the best EcoBoost Catback exhaust systems for the F-150, we have the Corsa Performance Catback exhaust system, and that is going to run anywhere from about $1,100 to $1,400. And it is also manufactured in the United States, actually in Ohio, and same with the Livernois Motorsport exhaust system. It's also a 3-inch exhaust with 4-inch tips, and it's made from T304 stainless steel and features mandrel bends for the nice smooth bends and clean exhaust flow. They also have their own patented reflective sound cancellation with the same benefit of the Livernois one, where the main goal is to reduce drone when cruising and also get rid of some of that raspy exhaust sound from the EcoBoost. So here's a quick little clip of the Corsa Performance Catback system. Moving on to number 3 for the best F-150 EcoBoost exhaust systems, we have the Solo Performance Catback. They're a little bit of a newer company compared to the previous 2 Livernois and Corsa systems that we talked about, and they're also a little bit cheaper, coming in around $855 to $980 for the F-150 EcoBoost exhaust. So great price point. Despite being a newer company, a lot of people really like that it's a great fitment, a great price, and a lot of people also praise the tone and the sound of this exhaust system. So just like the previous 2, it's also made from T304 stainless steel and features mandrel bends and also dual 3.5-inch exhaust tips. On this system specifically, they do include the option for an extra resonator to even reduce the sound a little bit if you're more so just looking for performance and looks and don't necessarily want a super loud exhaust system. And it is also a 3-inch exhaust as well. So here's a quick clip of the Solo Performance Catback. Moving on to number 4, we have a little bit of a different direction here with the Flowmaster Outlaw Extreme exhaust. And this is actually the cheapest one that we're going to be covering here at about $400 to $500. And this system actually doesn't feature any exhaust tips. It's just a 3-inch muffler straight into a 3-inch mandrel bent dump style turn down. So as opposed to any exhaust tips coming out of the side or the back of the F-150, it literally just sits underneath the truck and dumps straight down. And so because of that, you're going to get a little bit more noise out of this Flowmaster Outlaw Extreme exhaust system. You're also going to have a little bit more drone and a little bit more of that raspy sound just with that open dump style exhaust. One main difference and potentially a downside to this, despite the extremely cheap price, It is made out of 409 stainless steel, which compared to the T304 for all of the other options we're discussing, 409 stainless steel is a little bit lower quality and tends to not last quite as long as T304. So a little bit of a downside, but theoretically, given the price of this system at $400 to $500, if you did run into any issues, say it started rusting or started falling apart after 5 or 6 years, you can get another one, and 2 systems combined, you're in for about the same price. So that is the one benefit. Here we go with a quick sound clip for the Flowmaster Outlaw Extreme. Last up on the list for the 5 best 3.5 EcoBoost Catback exhaust systems, we have the Borla ATAK Catback. And this system is much like the first few we discussed with the T304 stainless steel. It does have a 3-inch muffler moving into a dual 2.2-inch out. And then it's a single split rear exhaust. So instead of having 2 exhaust tips on the same side of the vehicle, you actually have 2 exhaust tips coming out both sides of the back of the F-150. So a little bit of a different design from a few of these previous ones we've discussed. And Borla also has their own patented muffler designed for noise cancellation and reducing that rasp and drone. This one is one of the more aggressive sounding exhausts on this list. And so with that said, here's a quick clip of the Borla ATAK Catback exhaust. With all the 5 best 3.5 EcoBoost exhausts out of the way and a couple sound clips featured throughout this video, just wanted to circle back to discuss some benefits and also some general information surrounding catback exhaust systems for the Ford 3.5 EcoBoost. So in this video with the 5 best exhausts, we tried to feature a couple things that were a little bit different, a couple different price points and budgets. And a lot of these are similar with the T304 stainless steel and mandrel bends. Very high quality builds out of those. So if you're looking for a long lasting exhaust, we'd certainly recommend sticking with something like that. That said, there are tons of options for the 3.5 EcoBoost and the F-150. Dozens and dozens of different companies with different exhaust setups and unique sounds for the EcoBoost, and even some companies that offer multiple, like Flowmaster, I think has 4 or 5 different exhaust setups and options for the F-150. So tons of different options, hard to cover everything in one video, but hopefully this was kind of a good starting point to get you going and finding the right sound and looks and style for your preferences and for your 3.5 EcoBoost. Diving into a couple benefits of actually upgrading the exhaust and opting for a catback exhaust on the F-150 3.5 liter. Most of these exhaust systems will show horsepower gains around 7 to 15 horsepower and pretty similar torque gains. That can vary on a lot of different factors, but again, most of these systems should fall somewhere in those power gains. So respectable power gains for these exhaust upgrades, especially if you opt for something on the cheaper end. A lot of these systems also offer weight reduction over the stock exhaust on the F-150. Of course, when you're talking about a big truck and lots of weight in general, shaving off 5 or 10 pounds might not be a huge difference, but everything adds up in the long run. So a little bit of weight savings from these exhausts. Better flow, better exhaust scavenging. That's a lot of what ties back into the power gains and helping keep exhaust temperatures in check and keeping things cooler with the 3.5 EcoBoost. The one thing I will say in regards to catback systems is when it comes to upgrading the exhaust on turbo engines like the 3.5 EcoBoost, generally the downpipes are the best starting point if performance is your end goal. So if you're really looking to maximize your 3.5 EcoBoost performance, we'd recommend starting with a downpipe and then looking into a catback potentially after that. And really believe the main reason to go with a catback and full upgraded exhaust is if you're looking for those particular looks or sound of a full system and not just the performance and sound of a downpipe. So a couple added benefits there, but if you are looking for the ultimate performance setup, we'd recommend starting with the downpipe, going from there. Just be cautious with that, because if you do go with downpipes, especially if you go with like a catless option and then throw an aggressive catback exhaust on there, things can get pretty loud pretty quickly and you can start to get a lot of drone and rasp depending on the exact setup when you start combining downpipes and a catback. But ultimately, that wraps up our 3.5 EcoBoost exhaust guide. If you guys like the video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out the description below for more information on the 3.5 EcoBoost. Thanks, guys.